Hey, happy Thursday, everybody. You are listening to Mental Fitness Matters. I am your host, Tracy Alston, and this is WSIC Radio. Happy Thursday. I hope everyone out there is having a great week. I'm excited to be back with part 3 of my 3-part series, the Achievers Brain Training Series. And if you're just tuning in for the very first time on this series, you're right on time, because at the end of today's show, I'm going to talk about an opportunity that you guys will all have to be entered into a raffle to do 3 months of neurofeedback training with me. And I'm going to talk more about that and how to enter into that raffle at the end of the show. And if you're also tuning in for the very first time, period, welcome. And to my frequent listeners and followers, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you tuning in each week. This show is designed to provide you with education, tips, strategies, and solutions to improve your mental health and mental fitness. Feel free to visit tracyalston.com to check out previous episodes if you've missed any. If you're a podcast listener, make sure you download and subscribe to the Mental Fitness Matters podcast on whatever your listening platform is so that you can keep up with every show. All right, guys, on today's show, we're going to explore whether neurofeedback is right for you. And if you're ready to really begin to achieve and take your mental fitness to the next level, I want to give you a game plan on how to get started with that right away. But before we get into that, I'm going to do a brief recap of what we talked about show 1 and show 2 so we can kind of catch everyone up to speed on where we are. You've probably heard me say some things over and over again over the last couple of weeks because repetition and consistency is key. So you're going to hear me repeat things over and over again, and that's intentional, because we want to make sure that it sticks, okay? Our brain is a muscle, and it's the most complex organ in the body. So just like your muscles, training your brain increases its strength and its performance, all right? So brain training increases your brain's strength and its performance. So think about it. If your brain is operating at its peak, if it's doing what it's supposed to do and it's operating at its peak, you can achieve more faster and with greater accuracy. Think about that. If your brain is operating at its peak, you can achieve more faster and with greater accuracy. Think about that. How would that impact your life personally? If your brain was able to operate at its peak, in what ways could you see your life change if you were more productive and more efficient in your day-to-day work? So think about if your brain was doing what it needs to do, how would that have an impact on you? Remember, I said your brain is responsible for everything that you do, right? How we think, how we feel, how we behave, and it's constantly processing and taking in information. So we want to make sure that it's able to run the way that it's supposed to. I got a quick fun fact for you guys. A human brain can process information as fast as 268 miles an hour. A human brain can process information as fast as 268 miles an hour. So think about your cell phones or your computers. If your computer has a good processor, that means it's going to be faster and more efficient. Same thing for your cell phone. If your cell phone's processor is doing what it's supposed to do, you're going to be able to go and navigate through your apps more quickly, go through different websites more quickly. It just operates better. So think about your brain in the same way. You want it to operate at its peak so that you can perform at your peak. You want to be able to get through tasks. You want to be able to focus. You want to be able to relax. You want to be able to do what your brain is designed to do efficiently. Okay? So that's the importance of having your brain trained in a way that you perform at your best. And how many people right now kind of feel like with all that's going on, they're not really getting the best out of their brain's potential? I know a lot of us are probably feeling like our brains are dragging or slowing down. They're not operating at the speed and the efficiency that we know that it can. So think about that for yourself. With all that's going on in the world right now, how many people are feeling like your brain could be giving you a little bit more, but you're not quite getting everything out of that? So in all honesty, I created this series to provide information about your brain and its impact on your performance, but also to share with you the tools like neurofeedback that are helping people perform all over the world. Top performers all over the world are using tools like this to gain a mental advantage. And that tool is called neurofeedback. And so when you think about neurofeedback performance training, it not only helps you build your mental resilience, but we see the benefits in your physical performance as well. So there's a lot of wear and tear and stress that people put on their bodies. So doing brain training helps every part of who you are. So on show 1, guys, we learned about the brain and its impact on performance. you learn that we have over 100 billion neurons. You have over 100 billion neurons. And when these neurons communicate with one another, they create an electrical signal. And the frequency of that signal produces a brainwave. We learned that our brain waves are necessary and they reveal important information about your overall brain functioning and your overall brain health. All right. So, for example, our brain waves can provide us information about our stress levels. So if you're getting stuck in patterns of stress or high anxiety, your brain wave can kind of alert you and let you know where you are with that. OK, our thought patterns. So when you're feeling like you're overthinking or you're having trouble focusing, brain activity can give us information about that as well. And our emotional state. If you feel like your emotions have been all over the place or up and down, or you're kind of stuck in a place, understanding your brain activity can help you identify where you are. So after we learned about our brain waves and understanding how they impact how we feel and how we perform, on show 2, we talked about the benefits of using what's called EEG technology or brainwave technology to read and analyze our brain activity, to provide us with more information, but then to use a tool called neurofeedback to train our brain to improve in those areas. So that computer example that I gave you guys, if you have a computer that's bogged down or running slowly, a lot of times what you have to do is uninstall programs. You got to turn some things off, hit the reset button. You have to make some adjustments so that your computer begins to run more efficiently. Same thing with our brain. Our brain is processing information all the time. So we need to have a reset button or a way to kind of unclog some of the things that we're doing, taking off some of our programs, unfriending some people. We need some tools to put in place so that we can get ourselves back in the driver's seat of our life. And I also gave a brief example last week when we were talking about neurofeedback and brainwave activity and EEG technology, about how I think you guys are probably aware of technologies that you can use to measure and monitor your heart rate. So if you've ever worn any type of devices that track your heart rate, then you understand that the importance and the benefits of that technology is so that you can find and reach your exercise intensity goals. A lot of times people are wearing these heart rate monitors when they're doing high intensity activity or just activity in general, because they want to know the actual effort during a workout versus the perceived effort during a workout. So getting feedback about your heart health is really important when you're thinking about exercising and activity, because like we talked about last week, you can overtrain. You can overtrain. And so same thing with your brain. So think about this technology that we talked about on show number 2 as a way to measure and monitor your brain activity in real time, giving you actual feedback on your brain state versus a perceived feedback on your brain state. A lot of times we might think we're focused, we think we're calm, we think we're sleeping well, but imagine being able to get actual feedback about really where your brain is in real time to know whether you're in a focused state versus a distracted state, to know when you're in a calm and relaxed state versus a state of stress or anxiety. So the technology that we talked about last week gives us an opportunity to know where your brain is in real time, but also it allows you to make changes and your brain to make changes to improve the performance of your brain. And the benefits of having this type of technology and the benefits of having this type of training, we're going to increase your efficiency, all right? Meaning less wasted potential. How many people out there feel like that you have so much more to offer, so much more to give, but there's something keeping you stuck, whether that's your own thoughts, whether that's just not being able to kind of get as motivated as you would like to be, or what if you're already performing well, but you feel like there's more that you want to give. So think about being more efficient in your performance. Think about having reduced stress. Reduced stress leads to better sleep quality. And we all understand the benefits of sleep on our performance. So if you're sleeping better, your stress levels are reduced, you're having better performance, which is going to mean you're increasing your focus and you're achieving your potential. And that's what I want for people that are listening right now. And we also talked last week about top performers currently using this technology. We have the NASA Astronaut Training Center. They're doing neurofeedback training to get a mental advantage. We have Tony Robbins doing neurofeedback, getting a mental advantage. Formula One teams are using this technology and this training system. The United States Olympic Training Center, the U.S. Special Forces and Navy, top universities and athletes are using this type of technology and training to gain a mental advantage. So if you're listening right now and you're saying, yep, I think I'm ready to achieve and unlock my brain's potential, what are the benefits for me? That's what we're going to talk about on today's show. We're going to talk about what are the benefits for you. And the number one benefit that I can say when we're talking about neurofeedback and brain training, it's its ability to help reduce and improve relaxation, reduce stress and improve relaxation. And in fact, it's been approved by the FDA for stress reduction when provided by licensed healthcare providers. So stress, number one, stress. Think about our country state right now. We are all in a state of stress. So what better tools, if you could have something that's non-invasive, to help you reduce stress in your life, that could be a huge benefit for you. And if you've recently noticed for yourself, you've been more distracted, having trouble sleeping, some of your memory type things are kind of off, trouble paying attention, trouble shutting your mind off, and maybe even trouble shutting your mind on. Neurofeedback may be a positive, non-invasive training tool that you can add to your toolbox. Like we talked about before, I think it's important to have tools in your toolbox. It's not just one thing that's going to change your entire life. It's being able to have access to things that are working for you, that are allowing you to know where you are in real time, but also giving you the tools to help get yourself where you want to be. And neurofeedback is not something that's just for people that may seem to have mental health conditions. It's also for people who are looking to improve peak performance. So this type of therapy can benefit children and adults. All right, children and adults. And so if you are a child out there, or you know a child out there, or you're in the school system, or you're a parent and you're thinking about the needs of kids that you serve or the needs of the kids that you have, some of those benefits that you can see for children and teenagers include the ability to learn and study better. Think about how studying and learning is happening right now. A lot of people are at home having to learn and having to adjust. So being able to help people learn and study better because their brain is working better is huge. Being able to improve creativity, improve your attention, and helping people better prepare for tests and exams. We see this often in our offices with stress around testing anxiety, exam taking for people. So being able to take that edge off, helping people reduce their stress so they can go out and perform when they're doing their testing. So those are some of the benefits that we have for children and teenagers. When we're talking about adults, so adults of all ages can benefit from the neurofeedback training that we're talking about and training your brain, increasing your energy, improving your focus, improving your memory, balancing out your nervous system, improving your heart and lung function, and improving your overall health as you age. We talk about healthy aging. We've talked about that on the show before, that you can stay sharp. So I keep saying that your brain is a muscle because I want you guys to make that connection. This is not something that you have and it's just, this is what I have. Being able to recognize this is what I have, but it can get better. We can get stronger. We can get sharper. So if you're an adult out there and you've had brain fog or fatigue, or you're just exhausted, or lack of motivation and productivity, there's something that you can do about that. Okay. If you're an athlete, so if you're listening and you're thinking about, you're in the sports world. Like I told you guys before, I'm a former athlete, and a lot of the challenges that I came up against wasn't about my physical fitness. It came down to mental fitness, getting in your own way, overthinking, right? And so if you're an athlete out there, being able to improve your athletic potential by training your brain can really help you get in the driver's seat of your emotions. You can help you improve your concentration, help you perform well under pressure, and improve your reaction time and speed. So those things are very important in the sports world. Being able to be quick, being able to be accurate, being able to be efficient, being able to bounce back from setbacks. So more mental resilience. So if you're an athlete out there and you're listening and trying to figure out if this is a tool that I can use and benefit from, absolutely. Athletes, sports teams can benefit from this type of training. Business professionals and entrepreneurs, or professionals in general, if you're looking to get better in your career, in your field, a lot of us are always taking courses or training on how to improve self-development, improvement tools, looking to become better. Start with your brain. Because like I've said, it's responsible for everything that you do. if you're going to take something or invest in something, make sure you're investing in your mental fitness and your mental health. Because at the end of the day, that's what's going to carry you through and allow you to perform at your peak with whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish and achieve. This allows you to perform multiple tasks better, helps you quiet a busy mind. And we all know what that feels like when your brain is going 100 miles an hour and you're just trying to get it to shut off. You can become more resilient, and it increases self-awareness and confidence. So some of these benefits that I'm listing, if you feel like, well, that applied to me, this goes across the board. When we talk about training our brain and training our mental fitness, these benefits go all the way through from children to adults. You can have an impact in any area of your life when you're really conditioning that muscle, which is your brain. The types of training. So now that we know the benefits, and if you can benefit from this type of training, how do you have access? Let's create a game plan to get access to these types of training and these types of tools. So you can train in an office setting. So if you are local and would love to come to any of our offices, like I said, visit tracyalston.com. You'll learn more about New Mentality and Mental Edge Fitness Solutions, where we're doing some of the neurofeedback. You can come into the office and do training. And I recommend, no matter where you are, no matter where you get trained, you should always get trained by a licensed and board certified professional. Okay, this is your brain. You don't take your car to the dentist to get it fixed, right? There's specialists in areas for a reason. You don't take your car to a dentist to work on your engine. You don't want to take your brain just anywhere and drop it off and say, let's do some work here. No, you want to make sure you are aligned with a team of professionals that are going to know and understand your condition. And if you're doing anything around mental health, making sure that person is also a licensed clinical mental health therapist, so they can take care of the needs that may come up through that. If you're doing more for peak performance training, making sure you're with a board certified and trained provider in that specialty as well. So being treated by a professional is necessary. So if you're coming into the office setting, this process is 2 to 3 times a week. So remember, I said the repetition and consistency is important, right? Your brain is a muscle, so repetition is key. And it's important that you understand that when you start out on a process like this, all right, that changes and observations are subtle. They take time. It takes time for your brain to learn and unlearn new patterns. That's why we inform people up front that this is a commitment to your overall health and wellness, and it's an investment in your overall health and wellness, and it's necessary for you to be patient with yourself. All right. Think about that. If you've ever tried to learn or engage in a new activity or learn a new language or learn music, or you're working towards a goal, whether it's a health goal, weight management goal, or trying to completely change out your foods. Think about that. It all takes time. None of these things happened overnight. So being patient with yourself, allowing yourself to go through the process of change. And I think for myself personally, that's what I love about the neurofeedback process, because it really allows us and teaches us how to kind of let go and allow ourselves to transform and change. I think as humans, we can tend to get so impatient and want things to kind of happen right now, right? We're looking for a result right now. And we forget about that necessary process that comes along with change, and being able to kind of stop and be okay with where we are and trust the process. So I love neurofeedback because it really teaches us how to just stop, pause, and let go and allow. We're so used to wanting to control everything. And in this process, you're completely doing nothing. You're in front of a computer screen, getting feedback on what your brain is doing in real time, and your brain's doing the work. Your only job is to come in, sit down, enjoy a movie or enjoy a game that you're playing, and let your brain do the work. It's an automatic process. You don't tell your heart to beat. You don't tell yourself to breathe. Your body knows what to do. And so this process is about allowing your brain to get itself back on track where stress and other things may have taken it off track. This is just a process of allowing. So it teaches us to kind of be still, be focused, and be patient. And I like to use the analogy, if you've ever planted something, or, you've had a garden and you had to kind of plant a flower or a plant or some foods. And when you think about when you plant that seed in the ground, you don't just put the seed in the ground and tomorrow you wake up and things are here. No, it takes time. You plant that seed, and over time, you tend to that thing that you're doing. You water that thing that you're doing. Over time, things happen. There's changes happening along the way, but being able to allow yourself to be patient because they're subtle, and other people may observe those changes before you do, but there's things happening underneath the surface. And once you go through that process, you'll be very thankful that you were patient with yourself. So we tell people to come to the table with that mindset of this is a training program that's going to shift your life and your performance. And that's going to take time, and you're worth that time, and you're worth that investment. So if you're coming into that office setting, you could expect to be there with us at least 2 to 3 times a week, 20 to 40 minutes a session, depending on what we're working on for you, depending on what those goals are for yourself. Each session may look a little different per person. So it is customized based on the person that we're training, based on your brain's needs, and based on the goals that you have for yourself. We also have remote training or neurofeedback training that you can do from a mobile solution at the convenience of your own home. And this is where the raffle comes in, guys. I want you to visit tracyalston.com, go to my WSIC radio show link, click on the Mental Fitness Matters, Achieve Your Brain training series there, complete that and check for eligibility requirements there, complete that paperwork there for me, and enter a raffle to win 3 months of remote neurofeedback training or mobile neurofeedback training with me. And the difference between being in the office versus having a device that you can have at your own home, it's just really convenience, right? So if you can't get to the office, if you're not local or in North Carolina, or if you're not at any of our locations, you can train your brain from where you are in the comfort of your own home, being supervised by a licensed professional, right? So if you're training with any of our companies that way, or if you're training with me directly, again, the importance is you want to have somebody who's trained and specialized in your brain health and your brain performance. So for remote neurofeedback that we do is supervised by licensed professionals, certified professionals to train you. So we can monitor your protocols. We adjust your treatment plan. We set up things before you get started, and we give you access to your training program with us. And we can supervise you along the way in real time, or we can come back and monitor your results a little bit later. So remote training allows you to train as many times as you want because you'll have that device at the comfort of your own home. You'll download the app, and you'll train your brain from your couch or from wherever you may be, from your office. If you're an athlete and you're traveling up and down the road, you can travel and train your brain while you're there. If you're a business professional or corporation and you have employees that you feel like can benefit from this type of training, they can have a mental break in your office or in your company setting as well. So being able to train your brain at the convenience of your own home and at your own time is powerful. So remote neurofeedback allows you to do that. If you would like to enter a chance to win training with me, please visit my website, tracyalston.com. Go to my WSIC link, click on the Mental Fitness Matters Achievers Brain Training Raffle, check eligibility requirements, and then complete the information required. And a good question came in about, do you think people train better in the comfort of their own home or in an office setting? I think that's a great question, and it depends. It really depends. I think if you're being treated for something a little bit more serious, meaning maybe there's some trauma or maybe there's some anxiety or depression, clinical setting is necessary, I believe, because we want to have those professionals that are there with you. So that way, as things come up and as things are going on, you have access to somebody immediately that you're seeing a couple times a week, and they're able to put eyes on you a couple times a week to ensure that you're moving along on your path and your track in a healthy way. Remote training is really good. It's for people who are really busy, or they're looking for something that they can kind of do if their schedules are jam-packed, or if they're practicing all the time, or if they just don't have time to travel 20 or 30 minutes to get to the office 2 to 3 times a week. This allows them the option to still be able to train, still get effective training, but also training at a time where it's convenient for them. So it's about prioritizing your mental health and mental fitness. So I appreciate that question that you guys are sending in there. So being able to prioritize your mental fitness and to give yourself a way to take care of you. Everything is about regulation, guys. I want my Mental Fitness Matters community to know that this has been a series based on how do you take care of the biggest and the most important part of you, which is your brain, that you're worth in the investment. You're worth your own self-care. You're worth your own self-care. Make time for you. What better time than right now to take care of yourself? Taking care of the most important part that's not only taking care of you, but a lot of times it's helping to take care of others and serving your purpose. This has been great. If you have additional questions, please go back to tracyaustin.com. Drop me a message there. I'll be sure to get back to you. I want my Mental Fitness Matters community to go out and shine bright like the stars that you are. Have a great week. Be kind to each other. Love on each other. Can't wait to see y'all next week. Have a good one.